So I've been talking about all the games in the Super Mario 3D All-Stars collection, one at a time, giving them each their time in the spotlight. Also, it allows me to spend more time on each game than if I just did one video talking about all of them. And with Mario 64 and Mario Sunshine, I discussed more the concerns on the quality of the games in the modern day. But Galaxy, I think there's a much different vibe going on there. I think more so people went into this collection expecting it to be amazing. I didn't see the concerns with this game as I saw with the others beforehand. Again, going in, people expected Galaxy to be the cream of the crop, to just blow the other two games away. But now that people have been playing the collection, I've seen a lot of people saying maybe this game isn't as great as they remembered. Some even playing this and Sunshine back to back, saying they actually think Sunshine is better than Galaxy is. So I want to discuss today, is Mario Galaxy really all that in a bag of chips, or is it actually kind of overrated? Right off the bat, it's got a lot going for it. It is the most recent game in the collection. It has this cool space theme. Rosalina, the best Mario girl, no question. Well, I guess, these days I would say Pauline is an acceptable alternative. I can't blame you if you want her to be your one-up girl. The point is, Rosalina is awesome. The music, regardless of your thoughts on the rest of the game, I don't think you can deny this game has an amazing soundtrack. Lots of fantastic set dressing, which, speaking of, let's talk about those sweet, sweet graphics. This game, my god, especially coming off of 64 and Sunshine. Sunshine doesn't really look that rough to me, but there was definitely a dramatic leap between that game and this one. And yeah, geez, playing this in full HD at 60 frames per second, I honestly have never looked at Galaxy, I don't think, running on like an emulator or anything before. I only played, I believe, the original Wii version, so myself, I was just blown away. I was expecting it to look great, but I was still blown away by how fantastic this game looks with pretty much just this simple bump in resolution. I mean, this game, just like the others, didn't really get like a big visual overhaul or anything. While yeah, it doesn't look as good as something like Odyssey, a modern game, of course, I think it's shockingly close to it. Like, if you made some slight improvements to the textures, beefed up the environments with like more foliage in that, this game would be extremely close, maybe even on par with modern Nintendo games. In terms of the visuals too, I gotta say, I think this game proves we desperately need to make getting more Wii games onto the Switch a priority. I think a lot of the quality of the visual designs of many Wii games were lost on players because the system ran in SD. The picture was fuzzy, especially if you were playing on an HD TV at the time, so you didn't really appreciate all the work that went into these titles. I think you'd have a similar result with many other games on that system if you did just give them a similar HD bump. And with the Switch, you have the gyro controls as well as the Joy-Cons that can make less work for you to get them playing properly on the system. This is something I definitely want to hear from you guys about in the comments. Do you think Nintendo should focus on getting Wii-era games onto the Switch? Like, do you think they could be finding new life and appreciation with the simple resolution bumps? Like I said, I think they're going to have to start dipping further back in terms of games to port to the Switch anyway, as they're definitely running out of big Wii U titles. But yeah, let's shift into the actual gameplay. I absolutely love the planet gimmick in this game, where everything's got like its own gravitational pull. You can run completely around all these planets, but you gotta watch out for like jumping and falling into a black hole or something. Just feels like this offers up so many unique and interesting gameplay, specifically platforming possibilities, many of which are still just found in the Galaxy series. Really makes it stand out. There's an abundance of fantastic boss designs and fights that stem out of this, often making you platform or approach enemies in different ways. I will say though, given that I do think it's very creative and cool, playing this after the other two games, it's definitely not the most challenging Mario game. You get some stuff that comes more towards the end in terms of more challenging levels, as well as these more time limit type quests. But overall, and I'm not saying, like a game being easier is a bad thing or anything like that. I think it could use some more challenging content, even if it was optional. Also, the levels, in terms of replaying them and going for different stars, feel a bit too streamlined for me, with the planets often being smaller spaces, even though there's multiple of them in each level. You don't get the same feeling of openness that I think you do in, say, 64 and definitely Sunshine. I mean, I think Sunshine, in terms of offering an open playground that you want to run around and explore multiple times, I think does that way better than Galaxy does. Some of the levels in Galaxy are a bit more robust than others, but yeah, overall, these levels are fairly linear. And also, while I really like the overall Galaxy design, I do think some of the levels are a bit too repetitive, look a little bit too samey. I think the game could use a bit more variety in the look of the levels. And let's also talk a bit specifically about the controls, as has been a big topic I think with all the games in this collection. With this being the most modern game, it's no surprise that Mario overall controls very well, but there's an issue with the planet gimmick where you can sort of hit these I don't know, dead spots I guess, where sometimes Mario can't decide where you actually want him to go and he'll run in a circle even though you have the control stick pointed in one direction. Kind of annoying, but not game breaking. The big thing though I want to talk about is the motion controls. With this being a Wii game, you've got to consider how any motion stuff transitions over to the Switch. In Galaxy, the motion is already pretty subtle though, with the big factor being the cursor you need to collect and shoot bits, which just uses the system's gyro controls, so when you're using a controller or playing in handheld, it still works great, which actually makes me a little bit irritated. When I think back to aiming the Flood now, in Sunshine, why did you not add gyro aiming to Sunshine? This would have made it 1,000 times better, in my opinion. Nintendo, please, if you do anything in terms of updates with these games, add gyro aiming to Sunshine. I beg you. But yeah, controls also I think are solid, and they did a great job of transitioning the Wii motion stuff over to the Switch. So in terms of if this game is overrated or not, I personally don't think it is at all. I think it is phenomenal. I think it deserves all the praise it gets. There are definitely things that could have been improved, and many of them actually were, eventually. And here's where I think this game may run into some issue in terms of how it's remembered with your nostalgia goggles versus actually playing it. I think it runs into a bit of a similar problem as Sunshine, honestly, where many feel Sunshine isn't as good as other Mario games. Galaxy is in a rare situation where it's a 3D Mario game with a direct sequel. So obviously, it gets compared and probably kind of confused in people's minds sometimes with Galaxy 2. And Galaxy 2 was able to take a lot of the groundwork in Galaxy 1 as a base and improve on just about every aspect. I do think Mario Galaxy 2 is a better game than Galaxy 1, and I think that's where a lot of people, when they criticize Galaxy 1, it's like, oh, look at how much better Galaxy 2 is. But that doesn't diminish all the great work that went into Galaxy 1, which does also kind of lead me to the point of Galaxy 2 and its omission from this collection. I don't want to talk too much about that before I do my video on my thoughts of the overall package of the 3D collection, but actually sitting down and playing Galaxy 1 makes the omission of 2 that much more annoying. My mind wants to go right into playing 2 after 1, but it's not there, and it makes no sense that it's not. Huge missed opportunity in my opinion, but like I said, I'm going to be addressing that more specifically when I talk about the collection as a whole. But yeah, I still think this game stands on its own as one of the best Mario games ever made, and just like how Galaxy 2 benefited from the original greatly, this game also benefited from the 3D games that came before it. Galaxy got to build on all the things we learned about 3D platformers from the early days with 64 and then Sunshine, and that's something I also think we need to consider when we talk about the different quality of all these games, is that the developers are always able to use the previous games as a base. So it's 64 obviously, there wasn't really much to go off of. Sunshine got to build off that groundwork, and then, Galaxy again after that, and so on and so forth. So regardless your thoughts on them, they're all very important to the history of Mario and platformers in general. Anyway, with that, this video's a wrap. Let me know your thoughts on Mario Galaxy in the comments. Is it really that good? Is it one of the best Mario games ever? Or do you feel it's kind of overrated? Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this discussion of Mario Galaxy. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. And if you want to keep the conversation going, hit me up on Twitter, @JohnnyZakari, and join my Discord, ChiGuy and Friends. Link to both in the description below. And as always, thanks for watching.